Good morning. Welcome to Windy Hill Kennel. So this is take 3. Let's get it right this time. Today I'm going to talk to you about some things I've been getting phone calls from. People are asking me, I can't get to a groomer. I want to do my own. How do I do them? So what Vanessa and I did was we laid out some stuff here that we use to kind of give you some ideas. And I know everybody and their brother is sold out of clippers. So I use Bravera clippers. I've told many people about them when they ask me what I use. These are a lithium battery. They have a charger bar down here at the bottom. They're very quiet. This bar will tell you how much battery you've got left. You can cut for 90 minutes with these batteries on, or this clipper turned on, and they will not run out on you. You can also pull the cord out of the charger, which I didn't bring the cord down. And you can plug the cord in and you can keep right on cutting if you've got a bunch to do or if you forgot to charge it. You can stick it on the charger case and forget it. Once it's charged, you don't have to worry about it sitting there. I've used these for years. These are great. These come with a multiple blade size blade on it. There's a little button on the back that lets you change the size of your blade. I'll be honest with you. I either use No, I don't. I use the 30 blade. I use this clipper as tiny as it will go. I trim faces, feet, hygiene clips. That's what I trim with this blade. Once in a while, I might do a schnauzer cut, and I'll open it up on a 10 blade, but I like this clipper because it gives me a really short, almost a surgical cut with this. These blades are not resharpenable, so remember that. You're going to want to know why I told you that here in a minute. If you do your dog completely clean, blow it dry, and then cut it, these clippers will last you way longer. It's the blades you're going to ruin if you don't do a clean, dry dog. So I've been hearing everybody's out of these. I went to the wholesaler yesterday, and he has gobs of these in stock. So I brought 2 pair home. Right now, the only colors he has is silver or blue. And these come with, you get guides. There's 6 different size guides which snap onto this and let you cut your hair longer or shorter with a guide that's on here. So that's in the box along with the bag to keep it in. You get the charger, the stand, the oil, and the brush, the whole 9 yards. And they also give you a description of different blades that are adaptable that will fit on this clipper. I cannot use these wall blades on these wall clippers. So it's kind of an animal of its own. It does have its own blades that you need to use. But again, it's 90 minutes of run time, 60-minute recharge, and it has a 5-position blade. Now, these are the workhorse ones that we use a lot. So this is like using a cat bulldozer. This is like using a weed eater. Totally different animals. Excuse me. This is a commercial cutter. It has high, medium, and low. And both of these. This is a KM2. It's a 2-speed, and this is the KM10. I like both of them. One's a little bit bulkier. I guess not back here. Yeah, one's a little bulkier. But I guess when I clip anyway, I hold them like a pencil. And so it really doesn't make much difference. They have extra long cords. I rolled the cords up so that didn't have to fight with them. They do have a loop. You can hang them on the wall or hang them on your groom table if you have a groom table. If you're going to try and groom your dogs at home, you got to get them off the floor. So if you go to petedge.com, which is kind of the go-to place I send it to everybody, they have the largest selection of grooming tables that I've seen. They make them as inexpensive as $50, and you can go up as high as you want to go. You want to get them off of the floor. If you have a workbench that has a fairly good 2x4 edge on it, you can actually buy one of those bars like your groomer has that clamps on your table, and you can put a noose around your dog's neck so he sits there while you groom. If you groom on the floor, you're going to have a rodeo. So get him off the floor. If you're taking a puppy home for the first time, please take a pair of clippers. Even if you want to hold him this way, run them up and down that dog's head, make it lay down, rub its belly. You need to keep him desensitized to the noise of clippers. These are a little bit noisier, but I do this on my big dogs. I don't use these on puppies. This is my puppy cutter. Now the difference in the blades, I told you the other ones were not resharpenable. These are resharpenable time and time and time again. I have blades that are probably 15 years old. They are still good. I take them and have them sharpened about every year, maybe year and a half. I've got enough 10 blades I can go a while. And the only thing too, this one is a one size only. This is a size 10, and the wall regular blades are marked on the back as to what size they are. There is a gambit of sizes. You can even buy blades that are thick. I think we use a split tooth 15 maybe, which is a little thicker. It gives us a really nice short poodle cut on a poodle. But so there's different clippers out there. I can get the electric ones if you need them and can't find them. I also right now have a good source for the Breveras. I would have to get you a price on the wall electric corded, but these are $170, and those are available anytime. I don't keep a lot of them here in stock because of the cost, but my husband goes every Wednesday to our wholesaler house anyway because of his business, so I can pick it up and I can ship it to you if you need it shipped. So much on the clippers. Now, toenails. I hate toenails. Anybody will tell you that knows me that I'll say they're not short enough, cut them shorter. I hate toenails. So when you get, this one doesn't work right, so let me open these up. I can put them back. When you buy a pair of clippers, I love the toenail clippers that look like a parrot's beak. These cut all the way around that toenail. You find, and this has got a nice spring-loaded handle. When you find clipper or toenail clippers, some of them are called a guillotine. They slide straight up and it cuts the toe off like a guillotine. I hate those because when it gets to the top, it comes out a little, leaves a super rough edge. For those of you that are weenies about cutting toenails and think you're going to kill your dog, there is a blade that slides in front of this hole. So this lets you, of course now I can't get it to where I want it to go. Go that way. There you go. It's new, it's not sliding real good yet. So you bump your dog's toenail up next to that and you cut it. That way you know exactly how much you're cutting off. You're not cutting off, you know, I pull these down and sometimes I take them off. I cut more toenail than most people do. I want to go back and I want to touch that quick. I want to just make that toenail turn pink. So when you cut your toenail, if you look at the end and it starts to turn pink, then you can take stop bleed. Don't buy a big jar like this. Buy a small one. This is what it looks like. It's called scriptic powder. It's light and airy and fluffy, and it stops the bleeding instantly. So if you nick the toenail, which is a good thing because it makes the quick grow backwards a little bit and you don't get these really long awful toenails, then you just put some stop bleed on the end, take a pinch of it, push it in the toe, and it stops the bleeding. So stop bleed is also your best friend, because I know if you've had a dog before and ever have a toenail that starts bleeding, it wants to bleed forever because it's like, but it's not far enough, it's far enough in your heart, they're not going to bleed to death, so don't panic. The other thing is there's a lock on this if you've got little kids around, but so toenail clippers, that's my favorite. Is I like the ones that have the parrot mouth on them. Let me stick these back in the box. All right. A couple other things. Ears. If you have a poodle, schnauzer, or schnoodle, you really got to pluck the ears. This is an ear plucking powder. I am out right now. It will be here hopefully later this week. But if you are at home or you're looking for something, go to petedge.com. You might be able to find it there. You can also get their Pro Cleaner. Pet stores may have this. It doesn't have to be this name, but don't use water on your dog's ears. You want to make sure that you use an ear plucking powder. There's nothing medically about this. This is just a gripping powder. It lets you grip it, pulls it out, and you don't have the tendency to want to use tweezers. Please don't use tweezers on your dog's ear. Once you pinch them, you're going to sour them and they're not going to let you do their ears and they'll fight you every time. So ear plucking powder is something you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of ear cleaner. Doesn't have to be Pro Ear, but find something. brushes. So I hear a lot of people tell me, oh, my dog's got knots all over it, we didn't brush it, yada yada. This is a mat rake. This comes from Switzerland. It is, I have had this, I bet 15 years. I've never had to sharpen it. It never rusts. It's stainless steel. And this will actually, it has little sharp edges up under this curve. So you can see where they're curved. So what you do is you rake down through their hair and it cuts through those knots. So you don't have like a scissor knot where you go with a pair of scissors and cut it. You got a big chunk out of their hair. This keeps you from having chunks out. This is made by Mars and it comes from Germany. This one is expensive. It's about 25 bucks. But like I said, I've had it for years. They work phenomenal. But they do make cheaper ones. So I can't tell you how they work. I've never had one. But I know this is another one that's also from Mars. And this is a stainless steel too from Germany. So this is like a little comb. I use this on leg hair. If there's little tiny pin knots, just rake down through it and it cuts it off with those little in between. Those are really sharp. So it takes those little pin knots out if you haven't had time to really groom them. I'm a stickler on brushes. So I don't care what kind of brush you buy. This happens to be a Safari. Sometimes I carry these. Right now I'm out of them. I have no brushes at all. I still have a few toenail clippers left, but I've sold all my brushes. This is two-sided. It also bends. So when you're combing over your dog and you come up to a hip bone, it will bend and not be like raking across their bones. The white side of this is for puppies. The black side of this is for older dogs or long hair on their legs or tails, that type thing. If you can't pick your brush up and you can't comb your hair without it hurting, that's what it feels like on your dog. So don't give your kids a brush and say, here, go brush the dog. Check out Sally's Beauty Shop. Buy a boar bristle brush, which is about $3. It's got the boar bristles on it. Won't hurt your dog. They can brush that dog all day long. When you buy your dog brushes at a pet store, this was a cat brush that I bought, and it said it was very soft. It was a cat brush. This is harder than even this side of my brush. I would not rake this through my head for love nor money. So feel the brushes before you buy them. And if you go up, say, hey, I need to take it out of the package and see how sharp it is. Run it through your hair. If you can't do it, that's what your dog's gonna feel like. This is like this is a barbaric tool. This is like steel rods that don't move, and I'm not kidding you, this thing would hurt terribly to use. So check your brushes out. Just because it says puppies on the brush, I tell you what, there's a lot of brushes for puppies that are just as hard as this thing. So I don't know whoever invented them, but they didn't do a good job. I would check out petedge.com, check Revival, and check Jeffers. Pet Supply, you can find, I know you'll be able to find brushes that you need and you can use. And if you have any questions, call me. Like I said, this was impromptu. I hope it helps. We'll see many of you soon. Have a great week.